Great. Well, welcome everyone to Groop Surgery tonight. Just another drop-in session. So, Anne, I don't know if you have spoken with Natalie, but I'm Grace. I'm Membership and Groups Coordinator, and Natalie is our Membership Assistant. And Veronica, who's on the call, is also our volunteer who helps us out with membership and DBS checking and a lot of other really helpful administration. So that's who we are. So yeah, how can we help you, Anne?
Right, well, I have found Groop quite confusing, and I haven't looked at it for quite a while. I did eventually get most of our group on it, but I don't know how successful I was at getting it right. The issue I've got at the moment is I need to book for Common Ground, and we've got quite a number of DFs. Now, am I supposed to enter them on the group system, putting in their emails, and then will they get contacted to pay up?
For Common Ground?
Yes, or to, I mean, we've got some who have got membership numbers. Well, I think we've got some who've definitely got membership numbers. We've got others who may have, but I can't figure out what they are.
Okay.
And they didn't know either, of course.
Okay.
And then we've got others who haven't joined before. There are some of them, because we had a policy a long time ago to say that we would pay for the first membership for DFs. And we did actually pay, I think, for 6 of them. Okay. Probably about 6 months ago. Yep. And I'm not sure whether any of them have gone online and joined themselves up.
Okay. Okay. What district are you in?
Machynlleth.
Okay.
So, so I'm assuming that I need to put them all on the group system.
I think probably the best way to do it, because we want to make sure that the people who are not members go through the correct new member process, just to make sure we get all the information from them. I think what would be best is if you could send me a list of who you think is going or needs to go. I can sort of check to see if they are on group, because they might be on group but not linked to your district, just so I can sort of check that out. And if there are people who are not on group at all, we can then send them the information for starting the membership process. I think that's the best way to, get started. Do you agree, Grace?
Yeah. Agree with that. Veronica, happy with that?
Yeah. Should I send you a list of all of our DFs, whether they're coming to camp or not?
I think so, because then we can make sure that your district list is completely up to date.
Yeah, that's if you want them all to join. I mean, if they're just attending a group, yes, actually, if they're attending a group regularly, they should join anyway, shouldn't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think, Anne, the best email address to reach Natalie on is on the screen now, I think, and she's dropped it into the chat as well.
Yeah. So feel free to just send that over to me, and we can get, looking at that as soon as possible. Because I've just looked at your group on your group on group. And there's only a few people on there. So yeah, there just might be some linking that I need to do.
Yeah.
So
great.
Yeah.
So what do you need? You need their names and their email addresses?
Yeah, their name, email address, and if you do have it, their date of birth, just in case there's some names that are the same, it just kind of helps me out.
I think I've got all the dates of birth, and also from that you can see for certain that they're DFs. Then we have got some coming to camp who we haven't seen for some time because they're a bit older. So, and one of them is sure to not be a DF anymore. I think he'd be over 20. So, and I think I'm pretty sure he needs to pay up and sort of rejoin.
Yeah, just as an adult member.
Yes. So should I add him to this list as well?
Yeah, put him on there. I'll just check everyone that you put in the email, and we can just make sure everything's correct.
Yeah.
Are you the membership secretary, by the way? Sorry, Anne.
I have tried to not be the membership secretary. And when I said, can we have a district meeting? I don't want, I've got too much on and I can't be even, I'm deathly silenced from everybody except the other person who runs the ventures with me.
Okay. Are they all
so we actually have.
Oh, sorry, Anne, go ahead. No, sorry, go ahead. There was a bit of a delay there.
Well, since the beginning of lockdown, our Elfins and Pioneers haven't met at all. And the people who were running it, I think they've just run out of steam, and their kids have got slightly beyond that age. And
which group and district is that, Anne?
Machynlleth.
Okay.
And so you say it was the Elfins and Pioneers,
wasn't it? Who are not meeting, yes. So we have a group, we do the ventures, but even then, I was quite surprised to realise that of the ones who've actually signed up for CoCamp, only one of them is still a venturer.
Yeah, okay.
Got a gang of DFs.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know. I think I'll try and make contact with the group coordinator of Elfins and Venturers and just see if there's anything we can do to help them along at the moment and re-establish.
Elfins and Pioneers.
Sorry, Elfins and Pioneers. Yes, indeed. Sorry.
Yeah, I've written that down as well.
Give them another nudge. Oh, the other thing, what was the other thing I wanted to ask? What was it? It'll come back to me.
In terms of adding people for future reference, we could show you that quickly, if that would help.
Yeah, I'm sure it would.
Yeah.
Stop sharing my screen and we can get Natalie's shared there.
Yeah, because basically the reason I didn't say for you to add someone right away is because I just wanted to check this other information, because sometimes if that's not right, it will say that you kind of can't add someone because of some weird group things. But you know, going forward, I need to share my screen. That would actually help.
Are you in Marshmallow Elfins at the moment, Natalie?
What am I in?
Marshmallow Elfins is Leanne's test one, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Now I am a marshmallow. I'm in marshmallow.
Perfect.
I am a marshmallow.
Perfect.
Okay, so so up here, obviously this is the Marshmallow Elfins, the test. So adding someone for future reference as a membership secretary or the group coordinator can do this also.
Can I ask a favour? Could you actually show it to me with a venture group? Because we very often got email addresses for our young people, so that would be different from an Elfin group.
Am I supposed to only show the test, this one, Grace?
Sorry, are you meant to re-show it?
And just means they've got emails of their own, so they don't need to be linked to the parent. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, I'm unsure. That's something I'm unclear about, is whether I have to put in parents' email address. I mean, I assume that for under 16-year-olds, I should put in parents' address, email address. Yeah.
So Natalie, why don't we create someone, even just within the this Elfins group, we can always go and archive them later, that of that age and with an email address that we can put in.
Okay, so this is your group.
And let's just create, it's called Marshmallow Elfins, but let's just pretend it's a venturers group and we can create someone of the correct age group and with an email address.
Yeah, so I mean, ideally, sorry.
Well, that's the bit that I think I messed up, is that bit about putting in parental email or their email or what, or how I was supposed to describe the parents and things like that.
Okay, we can look at that. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
Natalie, let's begin by creating that person, then we can see how the parents fit into it.
Yeah, so I think you're supposed to add a parent, ideally add a parent first, because that's the person who owns the email address. So this is, I've had this problem as well, Anne, because you know, I'm relatively new and there are lots of people who have added children and then parents have later become involved and added to group. So that's no problem. What we can do is, if that is the case, I can just contact group directly and sort of get that
Can I
done.
could I just make a suggestion?
Yeah, of course.
If people have entered their children with the parent's address and you then want to add the parent, the easiest thing to do is actually to change the name of the child to the parent name and save it.
You're a genius.
Otherwise, if you try to archive it, it doesn't work. I'm sorry.
You're a genius, Veronica. Yeah.
If the thing is if the email is even in the archive, it will refuse to let you do it. So what you do, if you've got a load of children and you want to make the parents as well, you change the name of the child to the parent, then you enter the child and link it through the guardian function to the parent that you
just helped me on like a few inquiries that I have, like with group myself.
I told you me doing it every day makes a difference.
Fantastic, Monica, thank you.
Amazing. Okay, so let's do like the ideal, like you're adding a parent first, and then the child, and then we'll show you changing the child, and we'll do it that way. Okay, so this is your group. Up here there is the create user, and this is what you're going to click to add someone. So this is the same whether you're adding like a parent, a child, or anyone else involved in the group.
Natalie, could I ask a favour? I actually can't see you moving around on the screen at all.
I can't see create user.
No.
Really?
Would you mind stopping sharing your screen?
Yeah, that's so weird. Let me try that again. Sorry about that.
Make it smaller.
No chance we could actually go into our Huntless Ventures.
So unfortunately, Anne, because we're recording this session for everyone to use,
yes, of
course.
GDPR,
we can't we protect everyone's privacy.
No, of course.
Yeah. If you'd like to have a call with us separately, you know, one-to-one, that's absolutely fine. Be more than happy to discuss it over.
Right.
And we can definitely you know, if the emails sort of don't work in terms of us going back and forth, I'm more than happy to jump on like a call with you and we can just go through it that way.
Right.
Can you see my screen now?
No. Yes.
Oh yes. Yes. Okay, great.
Natalie, can you wiggle your mouse? Can I just see? Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, I had to do a noise as well. Okay, at the top there is create user. Yeah, so that's the same for anyone that you're adding to the group, or you can do this at district level as well. Okay, so I'm going to call this is the parent ideally. So I'm just making up a name.
Why don't we have Betty White?
Betty White. Okay, and you can be
but we don't know the dates of birth of parents.
No, you don't need them either.
You don't need it.
All right.
The absolute basic information is just going to be, you know, like their name and their role. So you always have to have a role selected. So all you do here, you can type in what you want, so you don't have to look through the whole list.
Oh, right.
So you can just begin to type, and I can select parent. If there were multiples, so say if they were a parent and they were also something else, you can select, say if they were also a group coordinator, you could do that as well. So we've got Betty White, I love her name, and they're a parent. And so here I would add in a email address for this person. I just realized when I click on my screen, they've got saved email addresses, Grace.
Yeah, okay, let's not click unless we have to. Mine does the same.
Yeah, that's really annoying. And so I enter in their email address, and that is pretty much all I need, because theoretically, if this person did have a like a Woodcraft Folk membership, it should auto sync with that. If they don't, maybe they are a parent without a membership, that's absolutely fine as well. So this is it, and we're just going to scroll right down to the bottom. oh gosh, it's such a long page, and we would create the user. So I'm just gonna go into a different parent who's already existed on Marshmallow. Is that okay, Anne? So far, can you see at the bottom there, it's create user.
So all you've done is put in an email address for the parent, and then you go way down to the bottom.
And
Okay.
make sure you've selected the correct role for them as well. That's really important. Group won't let you create their profile without a role being against their name.
Yeah. I think it comes up with a little thing to tell you if you haven't. But yeah, that's just to make sure. So it's like their name, email address, and role.
Right.
And you can invite them by clicking that button at the bottom when it's live. It isn't because we haven't got everything in, but you can do that in one fell swoop. So you just click the red button to on and say create user. But the thing to remember as well is that the email is the way in. It is their login from then on.
Yeah, it's like their username. That's the only way they're going to get into it. That's why we can't have multiple people associated with it.
Yeah, you can't have two people with the same email.
Yeah. So you know, we've clicked on so that they get an invite from group to go into this group. They wouldn't be able to get access to it otherwise, and then we've created the user. So I'm just going to go back to people. Okay, and then let's pretend we made Michelle Smith. So you can see here that the role is parent. They're not active at the moment. So that just means that they haven't accessed the link and gone into group. You know, some parents, you know, might not engage with group at all, but you want to have them on record. It just kind of really varies. So if I click here, I've got some options. If you needed to re-invite someone, so you know, perhaps they have deleted the email, you can just click that and another email invite will be sent to them. This is the one that we're going to be looking at, which is edit. And that basically brings up that same screen again. And this time we're going to go. Wait, what am I doing again, Grace?
I don't know. You're trying to add a child to the
adding a
event.
child.
Oh, is that? I was like, I'm on a parent.
You need a child.
How do I do that?
You need a child.
I'm going to go into a child. So we're going to link someone to Michelle Smith. So John Smith.
So we've got her open, the one we've just done. Betty, what's it? We go back into
didn't save it. You couldn't save it because we didn't have an email address.
Yeah. So we would have clicked create user and it would have come up with her as sort of a recently added person just above John Smith within the Marshmallow Elfins.
And then in order to add the venturer, you go back into her?
No, I'm just starting that process now.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going into, we're going to create a user
right,
who will be the child of Michelle Smith. Betty.
They're both called Betty.
No, because we never made Betty.
You're going to do it again.
And you've got to put date of birth in this case.
Yeah.
I think you should have a different name for the child.
Yeah.
Wasn't she Betty?
Yeah.
We haven't made Betty.
I know, but
no, you can't without an email address.
There we go.
Oh.
Okay.
Right, so here instead in a role, instead of parent, we can put child. There's also
or young person.
It's young person here.
Oh, right. Now, what's appropriate to use for venturers?
Young person. I use.
Yep.
For mine.
So, and you can go in and change this as a membership secretary or group coordinator. So if someone, you know, ages up, you can go and change them from child to young person. That can be edited. Okay, so I was like, oh no, they're just date of birth, so that's fine. How old are venturers?
Dates of birth 2006. No, sorry. Where are we? 2010.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know the ages yet for each of the groups. I keep forgetting them. So this is this person's date of birth. So we don't put in
actually 2009. Sorry.
2009.
2009.
Sure.
Does that matter?
No,
Yeah, change it to 2009.
That's fine. It's on 2009 now. So this is Alex, the child. So child selected, and we got the date of birth.
Turn my video off just because it's saying my connection's unstable.
Okay,
Yeah, no problem. We'll just have the audio.
Yeah, so I think I'll just correct you there, Natalie. I think we selected them as young person, didn't we? But yes, in effect, they are the child of.
Yeah, sorry, I always use child as like the catch-all.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, the young person. Okay.
And then they will have an email address, is that right?
Yeah, now actually we have got one venturer who doesn't have an email address.
Okay.
But that's fine. Do I just leave that blank and the parents get to use?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can leave that blank or put their email address in there, or or whatever information you need for them. And then we're just scrolling down just a little bit, and we've got the Guardian screen. So this is where you should be able to link them to the parent that's already created. Right. In the ideal order of doing things. And so
I fill in various things there, going through that form. Yeah, and then get down to guardians.
Yes, sorry, and we were just showing you the bare minimum of what you need to create them.
Yeah, I need to be spoon-fed.
Okay.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Sorry.
I was just going to do this bit first.
Anything that I know.
Yeah, that's fine. So
address and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, we can fill.
And then you go down to guardian.
Yeah, you can forget the labels. Don't need to do that. Don't need to do anything. And we're just going to go down to guardian because that's the important bit that we want to be able to link them. And so we've got this option as well. So allow guardians to log in on behalf. So this is probably going to be a conversation you need to have with the young person as well, so that they're aware that their parent can log in on behalf of the child.
Why? I would need to explain to them why the parent would be asked to log in.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some people who have quite a lot of conversations with parents and children, young people about this. It might not be the case in your group. And I think it's just a case by case. I think it's just something to kind of just notify them. Yeah.
Why do we have something where the parents can log in?
Because they might have to update information for the child. They might be, I think as well when it comes to making payments and stuff, the parent may want to sort of log in. Is there anything else you can think of, Veronica, for a parent might want to do that?
I think it's just that when the children are younger, the parent would be linked. And I mean, actually, a lot of venturers are only 13, 14. I mean, the parents are still going to be the main contact for deciding if they're going to camp or whatever they're doing. So certainly in our venturers case, I think all the under 16s are the parent is the person that is the contact. And a lot of them, some of them might have their own email addresses, but some of them don't. And anyway, the parent, if they're only 13 or 14 or 15, I think the parent should be aware of what's going on. Really.
There might be some, sort of medical information that perhaps
we've got autistic children for whom the parent does everything.
When I was younger, I definitely didn't know the name of my GP and stuff, so there might be or what medication I was taking if I was on. So the parent might need to, have access to update that information. So I think it's just something to be aware of. And the default is yes, I think. Oh no, it's not a default.
No, it's not.
You have to click it. So that's great.
Say yes.
Yeah, nothing.
So you do have to do that bit. So let's just say yes for this case, and that you've notified the young person of this as well. And then here you're going to have the list of. Oh yeah, it is there. You're going to see quite a lot of people, but we've got Michelle Smith. So this is the list of people in the group. And we can see Michelle Smith is the parent, and here it's just an on and off, and that's you selecting who the guardian is going to be. So I'm just going to select this, and then it turns greeny blue something. And that is, oh, sorry, Anne, did you say something?
Well, we have somewhere both parents are put on the form, and
link to both.
Yeah. Yes.
Put both parents on and link to both.
Yeah,
Right.
so we've got another parent here, Kevin parent. So we can add Kevin parent, and then they're both selected. You know, again, this is something, you know, to make sure that, you know, because we've had people say, you know, parents are separated. It's just sort of good to let everyone know who's got the access. Just so everyone's kind of clear on it, so the child knows, you know, it's both parents, and that sort of thing. So we've got here Michelle and Kevin are both selected, and then under 16. Okay, so at this point, Grace, I'm not sure what's happening with linking like under 16 memberships, or whether we even need that.
I am not sure, actually. Let me
Okay.
I will get back to you on
Yeah,
that.
my instinct is that you don't need this information.
Maybe Veronica, you have a better idea.
Not under 16. When they're over 16, then they have to do a DBS and join as
Yeah,
so
great.
they can join, they can be on there as an under 16, but it's not necessary for the national thing.
Yeah,
they're just a member of your group.
Yeah, that's great, because that's some information you don't have to fill in. So we're just
but I am going to have to fill that in because we've got so many DFs.
Yes, but they will also be national members. There's a separate national membership database, which is separate from your groups. So your groups have each got one of these places, things in the yellow. See where it says Marshmallow Elfins? Each of your groups has got a section like that. But then separately, there's a membership database, which is when they join, they go on that.
Yeah.
So that's what they will have to do, join properly.
So even for the DFs, I don't put anything in here? You
can if you want, but it's not necessary.
And when they've joined formally, does that information then appear in here so I can see it?
So theoretically, so this is why this is why I wanted to check the information by email first, so that I could kind of make sure that this process is going to happen. So theoretically, what will happen is if they exist in a membership database, then you add someone in a group that they will synchronize. And so that you can you would be able then to see their membership information, like this would already say be filled in,
and that's a piece that's been introduced fairly recently, so there are some bugs in it that we're working with the group development team on, so just to be aware of. But yes, Natalie's absolutely right. In theory, it should sync across them. But
that's why I wanted to get that info for you, because I just want to make sure that that actually happens.
It hasn't happened yet, as far as I'm aware.
One of our DFs said that he had tried to find some information about his membership online, and I'm pretty sure he is paid up and everything. He's 18, I suppose.
Yeah, so he's accessing his own account.
He couldn't find it.
Yeah, that's it. He can, you know, either contact me or group, and perhaps he sort of, you know, just isn't able to actually log in. But you can either, he can contact me directly, or you can send that in the email as well. Happy to follow up with it all.
Right, okay. Yes, no, in fact, what he hadn't been able to find was his membership number, and luckily he's been a member for at least 2 years. So
there's no membership number.
There's no numbers anymore.
No,
there aren't any, apart from the people who've been in forever. There are no membership numbers.
Yeah. So, and we'll be able to find him generally by email address or their name.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So the format of form that we've used for getting bookings for camp, that's irrelevant on that form. Okay.
They'll all be checked.
That makes life easier.
They'll all be checked against group when the registrations are all done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so the entire sort of like membership process can all be done online now. And yeah, I'm happy to send you sort of the link to that as well. It's all on our website. And I would be communicating with the people who are new members, like just directing them to the website, and that's where they would register on Groop and make their payment. And yeah, start the process that way. Yeah.
Oh, right.
No membership numbers.
So if they want to, when they're signing up online, becoming members or whatever, effectively they have to go into Groop to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it might be that the person who can't find their membership information, you know, has a Groop account but doesn't know the login, or hasn't registered on Groop before, but we'll check all that information.
Right. And if I fill them in with their email addresses on Groop, that will help.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't.
Sorry?
I can't do that, can I? They've got to do it first.
No, you can fill them in on your group.
On your group, yeah.
Oh, right.
But nationally, when they join as a member, they will have to create their own login on the national database. I've just popped in the chat a link for you, Anne, on the new membership journey, so that you can signpost anyone who needs to register nationally to that link, and it will talk them through the process for joining.
Excellent, thank you.
No problem.
That's just what I need.
Yeah, I've got all those web pages saved on my bookmarks because I use them all the time. So yeah, so where did so we've selected the parents, don't need to do any of this. So I'm sort of just scrolling through this area. So just, you know, that's the Woodcraft Folk membership section. So we're just going to scroll past that.
Is anybody voicing the opinion that Groop is overcomplicated and making life impossible for people?
We are very aware of the shortcomings of the platform, so we are constantly looking at it.
Yeah,
right.
I feel your pain, Anne. Yeah, and I will try and support you as best as I can.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's all I can say about it. Believe me, it takes up a large portion of mine and Natalie's workloads.
Yes.
So
I mean, yeah. As you must be very aware, you know, an awful lot of Woodcraft Folk leaders are people who are incredibly busy.
Absolutely.
And not necessarily.
And our volunteers' time is so important. So we'd rather have a system that is functional so that they can focus on what is actually important in terms of supporting those people in their group. So I do sympathise.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oops.
Don't forget, you do need to always scroll to the bottom and save. We have trouble even with people filling in child forms that they don't say submit or save at the bottom because it's so long and
is a lot to scroll down.
It is a lot to scroll down, and people forget. They fill in all the stuff and then they don't go to the bottom and say send or save or whatever, whichever it is. And even when I'm filling things in, if I get caught up by something else, I think, oh, did I submit it? Didn't I submit it? You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So here we've got child and young people registration. Because we're linking the child to the parent. This, I don't think you need to fill in their contact details because you've linked to the child and the parent. However, there are additional things you might need to fill in, such as, you know, an additional contact for an emergency. You know, there's different information here about, you know, ethnicity, gender, medical information, you know, like we discussed, and other details, you know, food allergies, etc. So
and ideally we would get the parents to put those things in.
Yes. Yeah, and these can be updated as well. So perhaps you're not able to get all of the information in on the offset, and that's fine because you can go in and edit that. I certainly wouldn't know everything off the top of my head. So
yeah, but we would expect a 16-year-old to do it for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I think it dependent on the 16-year-old, isn't it? Because, you know, it really varies in terms of, you know, what you might have, your relationship with your parent, or the information that you know about your own medical stuff. So it really varies.
Yeah, or even how mature that child is to take responsibility for their health and welfare in that regard. So I know 16-year-olds who vary wildly on that scale. I'm sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's no perfect system with that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, we've got child additional needs here for things, you know, like disabilities or any other information that might be, you know, useful or important. And then we've got parent carer consent. And this is, oh God, it's so small on my screen. It changes for
It's to do with our insurance.
Oh yeah.
And responsibilities that we have in that regard.
So you can submit the form, the child form, to the parent or even to the child if they've got their own e-address. So what you do is you just say at the top of the thing, it's submit sections to, and you ask them to fill in the bits you want them to fill in.
Right.
I'll show you that. So let's say we've gone in. This person say does have an email address, so we would select invite and create user. I'm just going to create this user.
Haven't we created it already if it's a parent?
No, this is the child.
Oh, right.
Or the young person, sorry.
But yeah, Alex White, the young person.
Alex White. So going in and editing information, so say you've got additional information you need to change, all you need to do is just click on the person and you select edit, and that brings you back to that main screen. So you can go in and change information at any time. You know, perhaps only one parent needs to be notified now, for example, so we can turn off Kevin. You know, there is additional emergency contact information, you fill in all of that. And again, we'd have to go update user for every change we make, always make sure to update the user. And it says in the top right, I don't know if you can see that, successfully updated user. I'm not sure if it's showing on your screen.
Yeah, it is.
Lovely.
It is.
So what Veronica was referring to say if there's information you're requesting someone to provide about themselves, let's say we go into Alex and press edit, and we want to know Alex's you know, medical and dietary information. So submit sections to user. This is a long list. But basically, these are all the things that are on that page we were just on, but in like a condensed view. So say, for example, we don't have someone's address. We turn that on, and that means that basically that we're requesting it. So I want to request their address, and maybe if I scroll down here, say I don't have their doctor details, and then I would select all the things that I want.
And this could be going either to a parent or to a DF, for example.
Yeah,
Right.
this is for anyone. So I send it to, you know, adult members when there's something missing. You know, you can do the same for anyone. Again, important is to scroll down to the bottom and submit data. Just for you to be aware, and that the person will get an email from Groop that says data request, which sounds horrible, and I don't know, it's just not very explanatory of what it is, but just so that you know that that's what it is called in the email, and that is this process. So we are asking for information to be completed on Groop, and then we click submit data, and that person would get that email. And
a bit like their invitation, which we'd send them and on Groop when they first join, they have 14 days from that date of issue of that link to click in and register. They'll also have 14 days from when we issue the request for the data request for information. That link will stay active for 14 days for them to do it, after which you'd have to reissue the request for that information.
Can I ask a question about when we've asking people to pay? Is that also fall out after 14 days? You know, when we send them a request for payment on the membership database, that also falls out. So is there any way of reissuing that?
That's a good question. I don't know, Natalie, do you know?
No, I think
I asked you that in an email today, more or less, Natalie, but you may have haven't seen it yet.
I tend to just send them the link to the payment page on the website. rather than reissuing anything on group. And
Seems
have
an
it that way.
omission not to be able to copy it and send it again.
Yeah, I'll speak to you about that separately though,
Okay.
Veronica.
Yes,
'cause
I know.
there
I'm sorry. Sorry,
no, that's
Anne.
fine. There might actually be a way to do that. But yeah, I'll speak to you about that tomorrow, Veronica,
Okay.
if that's all right.
Yes.
With you saying the word copy, I was like, why did I go into here again? Oh, submit sections to user.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was changing the child to a parent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so say if we haven't done the ideal version of adding the parent first, but we've got the child and we want to link them, as Veronica, the genius, suggested, all you need to do is change the child record. So let me just go back to people just so we can see the whole process. Let's go to Lee Child. So Lee Child has a parent who is going to be added to the group, but we have added the child first and not the parent. So all we need to go and do is press edit, and all of the information is editable unless it has an email address. So we're gonna Amy parent. So we're changing this, and very important to change the role. So this was a child, now we're changing it to a parent. And again, we would just add in what information we need and press save. And then we can add the child and link the two. Oh, you blew my mind with that, Veronica. It's like
it's called lateral thinking.
And then I can again scroll down to the bottom, and now this record has changed from a child to a parent with like the same, if there was an email address with the same email, and that would be a way around it, which yeah, is awesome. And does that kind of make sense?
I was thinking, I don't want to touch it at all. I mean, even you must get lots of people moaning. So I just want to add to it, just even the terminology. When I looked at it, I think the first time, I think the terminology didn't make any sense to me. What was a user? You would assume it was a young person or child. But actually could be anybody.
Yes, the user is like a capital.
If lots of the terminology could be changed, it might help. Yeah. But it is just so.
Yeah, the trouble is because group isn't just for us. It's like used by, other people as well.
So it hasn't been designed for our use, and God knows who chose it.
Yeah, we definitely understand the trouble with it.
It wasn't any of us.
Before our time, Anne, before our time.
Yeah, so I guess the main part is the, you're creating a user. You can go in and edit information at any time. That isn't sort of set in stone. And going, oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I've certainly got some useful stuff from you. So that's.
Oh, I'm very glad.
I do feel like I'm probably better able to do it, although I'm
and like I said, if you could just send me the information by email, and we have said this kind of process of like syncing the membership database to the group is in process, and in progress at the moment, and that might make things a little bit easier in the future, hopefully. Yeah. But for now, I will just check this for you, and then we can make sure that the group list is correct.
And is it just that membership email for both of you?
Yes. So Natalie supervises that daily, but things are often forwarded to me to look into further if needs be. Sorry.
One other question, which I think Veronica actually mentioned in passing, which is, do all 16-year-olds have to get a DBS?
Yes.
They do. Right.
So it's part of the membership process that it's, registering on group, paying the membership fee, getting a DBS or PVG if you're in Scotland, and then providing 2 suitability references. That's like the core of the membership process.
Yeah. So and once a young person has been directed to register for the national membership, and they register on Groop themselves, they will then get a series of automated emails which sort of guide them and signpost them through that process.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what Veronica sends out via Groop.
Yeah.
So Veronica checks and for new members and then sends out that information to them.
Right. Okay. And you'll tell me, Natalie, what has to be done with each person.
Yes, yeah, I'll go through and I'll just write it all out. And then if we need to have another phone call or video call, that's absolutely fine.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Perfect. Have you any other questions, Anne, while we've got you here? Or
No, that's enough for my poor little brain for tonight.
Oh, good. Ours too. Yes, so we obviously this is part of our series of training which we're running for the spring summer program at the moment. We have another Groop Surgery on the 10th of May. So that one might not be a drop-in session, more a themed session, say, you know, linking parents and children via guardians, which always seems to be a really popular one, as we've spoken about today, or, you know, we have a few other suggestions from people. But if you are looking for any ideas for activities with children and young people in the next while, we do have a session on Wednesday, and that's with one of our green mentors. So lots of ideas. No,
that clashes with our venture session.
Oh, well, it will be recorded, so not to worry. I will send up a roundup email probably next week with highlights of the sessions to catch on YouTube if you'd like to view that. And then I will send this out to group co-ords and district co-ords, but good for treasurers, we've got a second session as well with one of our sort of volunteer finance gurus coming up as well. So yeah, that is that. Thank you so much for joining
Thank you.
Veronica, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Us out. We've learned so much as usual from you, so